Let's do this. Let's have fun. Let's get the Inside Star Citizen review. Then we're going to go to Star Citizen After Dark. And then we're going to be giving away this bad boy right here. Let's do it. All right, everyone. Hello. Welcome to DG360. I love you. I love you so much. Give me a hug. We're having a giveaway tonight. It's an RSI Perseus. It is going to be given away at the after party, and we're very excited about that. If you're wondering how to get involved in our giveaways and you're on YouTube, go to the description, become a YouTube member or a patron, and automatically be entered in giveaways every single month or almost every single month. We just realized we've been giving away things since 2015. So if you don't win, don't worry. We just talked about that before we got on here. So let's check out what are we talking about tonight. 3.24 hangars and freight. Let's get into this.
Alpha 324 is currently in testing, awaiting its release to hungry players like you. And while ISC is moving onward to covering the ongoing development of the upcoming Alpha 4.0 after that, we thought we'd take one last chance to check in with the cargo guru himself, Chad McKinney, and get one last look at how personal persistent hangars, freight elevators, and cargo loading is working. This is.
Can I just say the best comment is from Mad Style right now. He says 3.24 again. Yay. Everything in the past 2 weeks. I feel you, man. As a content creator, I'm getting upset. Everything has been 3.24, 3.24, 3.24 till it's like, just give me 3.24 already, okay? I totally am on the same page as you, Mad Style. What's up, Starlet? How you doing? Good to see you tonight.
Inside Star Citizen, Alpha 324, hangars and freight. Let's go.
By the way, tons of people talking about this exploit, people stealing right off of, like, basically one click, taking everything from you. Lots of discussion here on the channel. Lots of discussion in the comments section. I've been talking to people. Pretty interesting what's going on. I would say, listen, it's probably going to be a messy on release, and things will get better as we go. This is the normal way. This is the way. This is the way with Star Citizen.
The first thing, obviously, you spawn into the hub. You can go out into the main section down at the bottom, depending on, like, you know, the station that you're in. Meet up with your friends. Make sure you're in a party together. At that point, you have lots of options available to you. You can either go to an item bank if you want to grab some smaller items, which there are numerous throughout the station, including.
Numerous is an understatement. Personally, there are way too many. Like, I don't even know what they're doing. Like, they're probably over installing these all over the place. There's so many of these goddamn things all over the place. I'm thinking to myself, like, are that many of them needed? I don't know. That's just a random thought I have while I play the game.
Actually, in the hub that you were just in, the item bank is used to allow players to get smaller items, mainly like FPS style items, without having to go all the way down to a hangar to use the freight elevator kiosk to pull it up from the freight elevator. That's especially useful for things like handguns or undersuits and armor, metapins, food, stuff that you just want to quickly get on your person, and you don't have to wait for like a huge platform to come up in order to grab it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Stunner, that's a really good idea. That's probably what they're doing. They're gonna see which ones are getting hit the most, right? Stunner says, "Oh yeah, I believe they're just testing to see the best placements for where we use them the most, and then they'll cut down the ones that aren't being used and just keep the ones where they're showing the most hits at." That's right, Stunner. That's right, dude.
The inventory that the item bank accesses is the same location inventory that the freight elevator accesses. So in fact, you can do things like put something into your location inventory via the item bank, and then later on decide you want to get it back while you're in your hangar. And you can do that via the freight elevator kiosk or any of the other item banks that are in the hangars.
And while you and your group members are certainly welcome in your new personal persistent hangar, questions still abound about what happens when an unwelcome guest sneaks in.
Okay. All right.
If someone gets into your hangar, there is a trespassing timer that will start ticking. After like 30 seconds or so, they're going to get automatically kicked out.
Okay.
In addition, we have changed the rules in the hangar to make it allow the same kind of like non-armistice zone behavior that the ships do. So we are modifying it to where you can shoot people that even trespass inside your hangar and not get a infraction for it.
Okay.
At your home location, it will be your personal hangar, but if you go to a different place in the verse, then that hangar that was given to you is what we call a public hangar, but you're still the person that like has authority over it. So while you do, you have the same kind of rights.
In many ways, these new hangars are your first home ownership in the verse, with not only the ability to defend yourself against intruders without getting a crime stat, but also your first abilities to customize and decorate your space as you see fit.
Honestly, there should be a better system just that totally negates them from even getting into the hangar. Like, just locks them out of getting into your hangar. Like, if you load up your ship and it's in the queue and it goes into the hangar, they should just be locked out of your hangar. Unless they're in your party. There should be a way to do that. That would be the best way. Like the fact that you got to go and fight somebody that might accidentally show up in your hangar is ridiculous. Like if you're partied up, it should recognize them and let them in the hangar. If they're not partied up, it should kick them the fuck out or not even let them get into your, when they push the hangar button in the elevator and they're trying to do it, they should be locked out at the fucking elevator to get to it. That's the way it should be. Do it. Can I get a 1 for that? Because I think that would honestly be the best way. I don't know why they're even taking it to the step where the person get in the goddamn hangar. You know, like that makes no sense to me whatsoever. I mean, it's better than what we had prior that we are all worried about. But come on, let's seriously do something about like making this a little bit easier. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no sense in fighting somebody in your own fucking hangar. That's ridiculous. I'm the guy all about danger, and even I'm kind of like, all right, this is a little too dangerous. Like, if this is where I'm accruing all my wealth at, get the fuck out unless you're partied up with me. And even if you're partied up with me, I got my eye on you. I got my eye on you. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. That's the way the game needs to be. Like, really. I'm glad they're doing something about it. But I want more evolution in terms of the mechanics here because I'm happier than I was, but I could be much happier.
Hangars are kind of the first real ownership in the world for the players.
I'm fine. Here's where I like criminals. Like here's where I would be okay with it. In my personal hangar, I want to be Scrooge McDuck, dude. You understand? DuckTales, hoo-hoo. Okay, in my personal hangar, in my home personal hangar, I want Scrooge McDuck time. I want to be able to dive in the gold. I want to be able to collect as much gold and diamonds as I can. Okay, here's where I want the danger. You put that danger on the land-based system. In lawless areas, you put it where it's supposed to be balanced in those areas that are lawless, period. That's the whole point of balancing the game, right? I mean, like, I'm a danger guy. I love the ability to, like, be a pirate anywhere I want to be. But there's got to be, like, a line. And the line should be this. Personal hangars, persistent personal home hangars should be Scrooge McDuck territory. Okay? Scrooge McDuck territory. Now, perhaps in a persistent hangar in a lawless area, okay. All right. But not in a lawful area. And that goes back to the security standings. That goes back to how we need to balance this game in terms of where you can be bad and where you can't be bad, how PvEers can play the game and PvPers can play on the same existence, in the same instance, right? Like that's how you make a successful game. Is you make sure make sure there's a balance, you make sure there's security where it needs to be, and where it's not supposed to be is a playground. So I'm cool with like the lawless areas. I'm cool with in the future when you're building bases and you got a land claim on a lawless area and you want to do some shenanigans. You want to go inside and steal some shit. That's fine. Completely fine with that. But like in a lawful based home hangar, like just stay the fuck out. You know, like I want just DuckTales Scrooge McDuck. And that's just me. That's just me. That's so like I want to define what is acceptable for me in terms of gameplay. And I don't think that's crazy. And I don't think that's out of the question. This comes from a crazy motherfucker. This is coming from a dangerous guy. This is coming from like basically a pirate, okay, with a heart of gold. I'm really a freelancer, okay? I don't, this whole pirate thing. I'm a freelancer. I sniff out opportunities, okay? Let's just be real about this. Everybody call me a pirate, for God's sake. I'm a freelancer.
We've had ownership with the ships, which is great. You've been able to keep things inside them for some time now and, kind of customize it that way. But this is the first kind of like home, the first place in the world that actually is yours. And it's allow you to store furniture. You can store boxes, cargo if you want to stockpile and be kind of clever with trading. Anything that.
This is huge. Everybody was downplaying this months ago, a year ago. People were talking about this and saying, oh, it doesn't matter. Nobody's going to use these things. And I was thinking to myself, these people are fucking insane that are saying this. They have no idea. Like a lot of famous content creators going in telling you like, oh, this shit doesn't matter. And this shit matters a lot. Like, you don't have to be stuck with what's ever on the grid in your ship anymore. Like we were limited by what was in our ship and that we had to store our ship and that was it. Now you can take everything from your ship on when you're trading. You don't have to sell anything. You could literally just stack it. You could just stack it in your hangar, which is huge. That's a huge deal. So, now they're going to eat crow because now they're going to find out those content creators, the really popular ones, are going to find out that this is actually a very cool feature and that you'll be able to accrue wealth and you'll be able to personalize it and more asses will sit in seats because now you're not just limited to cargo being in your ship anymore. And God only knows, how many times like you've had cargo on your ship and then it gets what you do 4 hours of work. You come back, you have some hangar glitch and oh my God, what do you do then? What's up, Expat Brad? How you doing? Expat Brad coming in. Look at her. Raiding the channel. I love Expat Brad. What's up, Expat Brad? You have a good stream. It's good to see you. How's everybody from Expat Brad's stream? I'm going to call you the Expat Bradians. How's the Expat Bradians doing? It's good to see you all. We're watching some Inside Star Review. We're talking about how much this is going to change the game in terms of accruing wealth. And it is a big deal because you're not limited to sticking cargo just on your ship anymore. You can actually accrue it in your hangar. That's a big deal. Oh my God, St. Eric, my God, you're going to make me pass out. Look at the love.
Next time it's going to be glass.
Look at this love.
I'm warning you.
Oh my God! What is going on here? Sutter, Eric.
Next time it's gonna be glass.
God, you guys are killing me. I'm
warning you.
Oh my God, Hugh, he's a gentleman.
Next time it's gonna be glass.
My goodness. Gift them. Gift those Expat Bradians. Expat Bradians, congratulations. You have yourself all the tiers that you need. And they're the good kind of tiers, by the way. They're happy tiers. And thank you. Thank you to all the OGs up in here giving gifts to the Expat Bradians. That's the way to be. All of you are gentlemen and gentlewomen. I love you.
I'm warning you.
Oh my God, Dynasty 2. God, I love you. All right, we got to get into this.
Any flair, anything that you want that will help make it feel like home. But it's not the end. We have lots of plans for the future. You've seen things with all the base building updates, and also we've talked in the past about things like persistent Habs, etc. So there's more that's going to be coming along this vein, but the personal Habs are the first big step of ownership in the world for players.
With armistice zones now removed from hangars, Persistence allows players to now set their most used items out for easy access before any launch. You can display your firearms, ship items, and more however you'd like. And in future releases beyond Alpha 324, this will include display cases for armor as well.
basically almost anything in your inventory you'll be able to pull up.
Dude, that reminds me of the old Revel in York hangars back in the day. You're an OG if you remember the Revel in York. You're an OG. You're a vet if you remember the Revel in York hangar. That was my fave, man. And then you remember all the cases, man. Those cases you displayed all your artifacts in. You're going to be able to do that for armor sets. That's really cool. I dig that. I dig that. Anything that can make the game more unique, the more player retention will be higher. You're going to have higher retention rates the more you can make this game a custom, unique experience.
Via either the item bank or the freight elevator, and then you can directly leave them around in your hangar. Now, you do have to be careful about, like, if you want to call up a ship, leaving things on the platform may block it, so that could cause issues. However, we did expand the size of the hangars in order to give you more space in there to do exactly this. So we want to make it both easier experience to get in and out of some of these hangars, as well as give you more space in order to decorate it and make it feel like your own place. In addition to all that, another change that we've made is we've reclassified many ships in the game that were previously attributed to small hangars now to the medium-sized hangars, so that they are a more comfortable fit as far as landing. And then in addition to that, also to make it more reasonable for maybe the amount of cargo or the items that you're moving in.
The physicalizing of most items and the addition of freight elevators and new kiosks in Alpha 324 to work with them not only in your hangar but at mission locations throughout the verse means a fundamental shift in the manner and time it takes to load and offload your ship or vehicle.
Yep.
For both manual and automatic loading, you're going to be doing something at the moment that's going to be some kind of commodity transfer. Whenever you go to the commodity terminal to do a transaction, you're presented with two different options. You can either deliver directly into your location inventory or pick a ship from a list that's at that location and have it automatically packed into that ship for you. If you decide to deliver it into the location inventory, you'll buy it. There's no restriction on what you buy. It'll just go directly into it. As long as you have capacity in the inventory and the money to pay for it, you can do it. At that point, it's up to you if you've bought it to get it onto your ship or to move it to wherever, or just sit on it. So you can just like hang out, wait until the prices look good, and then later on decide to move it to another.
That's going to be extremely helpful for anybody that's a trader, man. That's going to be really nice. You can sit on it. For, you know, those construction materials, I've been using the Vulture a lot lately because that's the ship you're getting free this month as a subscriber. And those construction materials, or was it recycled something composites RMC, I think is what it's called. Sometimes, you know, you go to a TDD to sell those off and there's no demand for it and it's a pain in the ass. So this is nice because if there's no demand where you're at to sell whatever the goods that you have, you can store it in your warehouse, and then, you know, at another point in time you can just go to the TDD and you can sell directly from your physicalized cargo in your warehouse, man. That's you know what? That's pretty fucking huge. I dig that. That makes things really nice. You can actually store your goods. This is, you know, a lot of people just like but this is really important gameplay. Like this these steps forward are really important to build like a foundation, like a basement, if you will, to an economy that desperately needs to be in the game. So I hope at CitizenCon coming up this year, we hear a lot more about the economy. It's super important to me that there's economy discussions happening. Was it last week or the week before we looked at we talked with the economy designer, which was really exciting. Kind of want to ask where the hell Tony's at. But the economy designer seemed to know what he was doing. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. The Star Citizen Live, I had a little issues with after that. Still want to watch that with y'all because there are a couple things that had me a little bit worried.
Different location. From there, if you decided to manually load it, you can load it onto the ship, call ATC, go to a different location in the game, land at a different location, go into the spaceport, and then access the same commodity terminal there, look at the prices, and make a determination about whether you want to sell anything on your ship. At that point, you can make what we call like a sell order. And this is basically like a declaration, kind of like a contract that says like, I will deliver these goods and you will give me this payment for it. When you've done that, at that point, you can go back to your hangar, move the goods off of the ship onto the freight elevator platform, use the freight elevator kiosk to put it down into the location inventory. You'll get a little screen that pops up that tells you, here's the sell order that you had, here's the price that we agreed to, you've now delivered everything, you know, check, and then you get the payment that's delivered. Yes. And the reason why we do that is actually to remove a round trip. So this gives a way for players to kind of like skip a step in the flow and help make things a little bit more smooth. On the flip side, if you just want to deliver it into your location inventory at the new location, you can do it like that as well. And then once you're inside the spaceport, sell it from the location inventory instead, or just sit on it until another point in time.
That is a huge upgrade to how it is currently. There, like I was playing the game the other day and I just heard somebody bitching because they were hauling shit for 4 hours and finally got to a hangar and then the whole thing glitched on them and they had to claim the ship and all the cargo was gone. And I see that at least once or twice every week where somebody's doing all this work and then everything they did disappeared. So I think you'll still have that, but I think you'll have a lot less of that because people are going to just transfer directly to these and save their cargo. Then the whole reason this physicalized cargo is 100% better than what we had is because there's going to be a lot less loss of goods. I liked what Caveman said earlier. Caveman saying, I'm not sure if I agree with their view of smaller SU boxes taking longer times to load. That means the smaller cargo ships will take longer to load than the larger ships loading the same amount of goods. I'll have to look into the details of that, Caveman Crafting. Maybe I'll get back to you on that because if that is the case, yeah, that doesn't make sense to me as well. St. Eric says, hope they build on this more. I love to play some options trading on goods and commodities. Yes, I think this is the very beginning. The physicalized cargo, Eric, I think is the next step to player contracts. I think you'll start seeing a much more sophisticated system on buy and sell orders as well. Now, this is going way into the future, and of course, I'm theory crafting and speculating right now, but I've been pretty dead on for the most part when it comes to economic gameplay. And what I would say is going to physicalize cargo essentially means that it will be easier to place contracts with other players, and essentially, eventually, the NPCs and the actual quantum, or what's it called now? It's not called quantum anymore. There's a new name for it, for the economy. But essentially what you'll be able to do, and I think eventually what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to write out player contracts for goods from player to player, like how we have the mode trader for money, for credits. I think we'll have the same thing for goods. Star Sim. Thank you, Aether. Thank you, Dr. Aether. Yeah, Star Sim is what they're calling it now. And it's interesting about the name change. Name change going from Quantum to Star Sim now. And it seems to be that the new, or the economy designer, I don't know how long he's been there for, but he announced that. So that's an interesting move too. And I still want to hear news about Tony. You know, the more time goes on, it's like, come on already. Just tell us what's going on. On the Starlet's saying to Caveman that it's the same time to load a box regardless of its size is what Starlet's saying. And then Caveman saying the dev said that the large SU boxes takes less time to load than the smaller SU. Can't remember the timestamp, but it was in today's video is what Caveman is saying. So I'll have to go back and check Caveman. But yeah, that doesn't make sense if that's the case.
Automatic side, whenever you go to buy the goods, the ship needs to be stowed at that location. At that point, the ship will be locked down, so you can't call it to fly it off while the loading's in process. You also have to pay a little bit more in order to fund the movement by the local services in order to actually move the cargo onto your ship for you. Once the timer has run out, you go down to the ASOP terminal. You can spawn your ship or retrieve the ship from the ASOP terminal, get in the ship. All the boxes should be there. And you can fly off to another place and then do the inverse at a different location. The other thing is that you can mix and match these. So you can decide to manually load the boxes from your location inventory onto your ship, but then automatically unload them, or vice versa. It's really up to you about how you want to do it. Like maybe you decide that you don't mind unpacking it because maybe it's a little bit easier.
And you know what I'm thinking about while I watch this? I'm thinking about people unloading in the organization that I have when we finally have land claims and a base, and we're unloading at a dock and loading into the cargo bay. And then I'm thinking of like an attack happening at the same time. So this is kind of cool because it's the blood's percolating. I'm watching this shit and I'm thinking about future gameplay. It makes me really happy, you know? Like, I wonder what the premium is in terms of having like it just automatically load your ship for you. Like, what do you think the percentage of your total margin, you know?
Easier once everything's already in there. Or you can decide that for certain sizes of shipments, like for a few small boxes, you don't mind moving it, but maybe for like a really big load in a C2 where there's like a lot of things going on, you'd rather just kind of, you know, use the automatic loading service. Now, what we went out with before wasn't really our intended behavior, because what was missing was some granularity in the loading time determination based on the box size. It was always the plan, we just weren't able to get to it yet. So I know that there was some feedback that some of the loading times seemed to not make sense. This is the reason. The reason is that we didn't have the granularity in the system to scale the loading times based on the box size. And what that really means is that for smaller boxes per SEU, you're going to spend more time on smaller boxes. So if you have, let's say, a ship and you fill it up with 600 SEU, if those are like 1 SEU boxes, that's going to take a long time because that's a lot of boxes to move. But if we're talking 32 SEU boxes, that's a much more efficient moving pattern that has to be done by the loading services. So that's going to be quicker to load. And that'll help us tune the system to make sure that we're not overly punishing people with these incredible loading times. But we still want it to, you know, be a reasonable amount of time for the higher loads for us to be able to tune the economy in a reasonable way. And also to make sure that manual loading is something that there is an incentive to do.
I don't know. That just seems semantics to me. I mean, like, here's the thing. As a dude that used to work in a warehouse, sometimes like one heavy ass box took longer than 50 small boxes, and sometimes 50 small boxes took longer than one heavy ass box. You know, like it was kind of very random in terms of like what it would take to load a truck when I worked in a warehouse. You know, so I'm not quite sure what the logic is there. If he's talking about just because there's more quantity of boxes that it should take a longer time, and that's where his logical thought process are going. But that's not so logical, because as a dude working in a warehouse, I can tell you many times it kind of went both ways. It really, at the end of the day, it was more of a weight issue than anything, you know. So I don't know about that.
Of course, with these new kiosks and new ways to access your inventory, for those of you who have been building your possessions year after year, one question was destined to rise above all others.
Search is another one of these things that we always wanted to do. Now that we've been longer in development, trying to close out and you know, finish off some of the bigger bugs, which has mainly been Hangar instancing related. We've also taken the opportunity to work on the quality of life improvement that we wanted to get in particular, which is search functionality in the freight elevator kiosk and the item bank. Now, this is going to be the first step. Where we're starting is it's going to be a name-based search on the items, but it won't, for example, search on description names or like color, things like that. And it will be a fuzzy search, which means that you will be able to search for substrings of names. So you can, for example, have helmet, and that'll actually pick up a lot of different items which actually have the word helmet in the name. Or you can look up helm and still get most of those same results, or all the same results.
Okay, here's what I have to say. The inventory system is still, even after the UI changes, still very flaky. The stack options don't work. You're still dropping items to have to pick them up. They don't equip on your body. There's still a lot of fucking shit going on with this inventory system. Hopefully physicalized inventory or physicalized cargo, in essence, will help. I don't know how, maybe through data or the way that the servers process the data. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but it's still very flaky. It still feels very inconsequential. Like it feels disjointed. They need to make it more, the whole system needs more weight to it in terms of, you know, It needs to be more functional. You need to be able to stack items better, and it needs to respond better. The UI, they did a little work to it, okay, but it still doesn't feel, it doesn't get a passing mark for me yet.
Other things, which
It's
also
better,
include that.
but it needs more work.
So I'm really excited about it. This is something that I remember talking about implementing Surge forever ago when we first originally introduced the inventory and then also the player asset manager knickknacks. It's something that we needed backend support for to do properly in order for it to not overburden the backend. Yeah. But we actually got support from the backend team, which did a great job getting this in for us. So I think this will be a really good.
I mean, why they don't automatically stack when you buy is ridiculous. Like when you're buying things, you see, or, you know, I'm not quite sure what item he's showing right there. I can't see what is even selected right there. It doesn't look familiar to me, but when you're buying items like missile racks or like, and it separates each by individual one counts, it makes no sense. When you're buying it, it should be grouped already ready together. So it's the way that it's the way that it's fetching data. It needs to collate the data. Like I'm not even quite sure why it does that, but they need to fix that. And that's in the code. That's like code work.
Team, which did a great job getting this in for us. So I think this will be a really good feature for the players, and hopefully that makes them feel a little bit better about waiting a little bit longer on the patch.
All in all, the upcoming changes to cargo and the combination of physicalized inventory with personal precision hangars means the upcoming Alpha 324 is the next major step forward towards players owning a place in the verse and configuring it however they'd like. And what else did we learn this week? The armistice zones are being removed from player hangars, which will finally let you load up those gun racks on your ships. That the law system will let you stand your ground when someone invariably tries to sneak in and steal all of your stuff. And that storage access kiosks are for long-term storage. And that
it's going to be messy. I'm going to tell you there's going to be a lot of problems with this when they're initiating this, and I don't know why they just don't lock out people that aren't partied with you and just make it so that when they're in the elevator trying to push the hangar, it doesn't work because it's specifically your ship in that hangar. So I don't understand why they can't do that. So that's number one. I'm not happy about that at all. I'm glad we're making a change here. It's nice. I just don't think it's a step in the right direction. It is a step better than where we were at. I think they can do a better job on that. But in terms of what we're going to be able to do with cargo and not have to worry about our cargo that we being instanced just to the ship grid anymore, and that we can actually start to unload is just fantastic. So that I'm ecstatic about. I'm really ecstatic we'll be able to customize the hangars. I think you're going to see a lot more play time from people. I think player retentions are going to go up after this. I think it's a smart move. I've been talking about this for over a year and a half and saying this is what they needed to do to keep asses in seats, and they're starting to do it, and this is the very basis of the foundation of the economy moving forward. I think what we're going to see from physicalized cargo is we're going to see the step forward into contracts between players and players, very similar to how we can send money through the mode trader. Now we're going to be able to do contracts vis-a-vis player to player. It's going to be exciting. What I really want to see from physicalized cargo is a system in which we can put buy and sell orders out. Now that would be cherry.
Yes, sir. You're not gonna hate me. Yes.
That would be like, you do that and I will probably just, my head will explode if that happens.
decorating your hangar with all of your items is the next step in eventually letting you grab your kit and go without the need for those inventory screens at all. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for letting us share the people and process of game development with you, and we'll see you all here next week.
Okay. Well, we're waiting. 324 is all we've been hearing for the past 2.5, 3 weeks, man. Everything's 324, 324, 324. So, let's go. Let's get it going here, man. It's very exciting. If you're watching on YouTube, definitely like and share this. Spread the word. We've been doing this for years upon years. And it's wonderful because we have like a diverse group of people all expressing their opinions, some for, some against, but we're all open-minded. We listen to you, and we don't like an echo chamber here. So if you're somebody that's an adult and you're respectable and you want to come in and express your thoughts or views, we're open to it. And thank you for watching here. So let's get to our Star Citizen After Dark show.